If we were to give an award for Player of the Century so far, I think we'd all agree it's a two-horse race. Sure, there have been some incredible players over the last 25 years, but when it comes to numbers, honours and longevity, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo stand head and shoulders above the rest. So how would you decide who gets the award? A public vote or something more official, like a Ballon d'Or style panel behind closed doors? Well, this was the exact dilemma FIFA faced in the year 2000 when they set out to name the Player of the Century, and in typical FIFA fashion, they managed to fumble it so badly that what should have been a celebration of footballing greatness turned into a sad, confusing farce. Things weren't so clear-cut in the previous century as to who should be named as the greatest player. It was an era of GOATs. Alfredo Di Stefano, a generational goal machine who helped establish Real Madrid as the most dominant force in Europe. Stanley Matthews, a wizard on the ball who revolutionized wing play. Eusebio, frighteningly fast and deadly in front of goal, simply one of the best strikers of all time. George Best, a dribbling god and one of the purest natural talents the game has ever seen. Bobby Charlton, a modest maestro, not just a great player but a wonderful man. Franz Beckenbauer, a complete player, a captain, a colossus. He changed the way we saw the defender's role. Johan Cruyff, one of the most unique minds the game has ever seen. He perceived things on a different level from everyone else. Michel Platini, he overcame physical problems and a lack of natural athleticism to light up the pitch. Zico, Rivaldo, Romario, Van Basten, Baggio, the list of legends was endless. As we were entering a bold new technological age, FIFA decided to embrace modernity and put it to an internet vote. Running from October to November 2000, FIFA invited fans to log on and choose from a specially selected 27-man shortlist. Not everyone was convinced. To choose the best player in the world by keyboard is a joke, said Brazilian Mario Zagallo. Two frontrunners quickly emerged, pulling ahead of the rest, Pelé and Maradona. Arguably, no single individual had done more to advance football as a sport and establish it as the world's game than Pelé, the king. He was the reason it is known as the beautiful game. A titan of the World Cup, he won 3 of them. An innovator on the pitch and an ambassador off it. He was the clear establishment choice. Then there was Maradona, a natural talent the likes the world had never seen before. The fluidity and speed with which he could dribble the ball was mind-boggling. While Pelé had been an exceptional player in great teams, Maradona turned average teams into champions. He tested himself against the best defenders in the world, week in, week out, and made them look foolish for years. A magnetic, charismatic, larger-than-life individual, he was the people's choice. However, with drug bans and other scandals, he brought the game into disrepute in a way Pelé never did. In December, word leaked about who was going to win, and FIFA was not happy. Maradona had obliterated Pelé. He received 53.6% of the vote, compared to just 18.5% for the Brazilian icon. The people had spoken. Maradona was the player of the century. Diego is already celebrating and choosing the clothes he will wear. Pelé and all of Brazil are crying because Maradona won the election, said Argentinian paper Olé. Indeed, Brazil was incensed, and cries of cheat and rigged echoed across the country. As the internet was in its infancy, a form of recency bias was at play here, they claimed. People who say that only young people voted on the internet, those who did not see Pelé play, forget that children are not orphans. There's always a father who buys the computer and perhaps influences their vote, said Maradona. Argentina had also mobilized. The Argentine FA launched a full-blown public campaign backing Maradona. Pelé, by contrast, had no such support. He was in a long-running feud with Brazil's Football Federation, and so FIFA panicked. Maradona had nearly died earlier that year from drug-related heart issues. He was receiving treatment for cocaine addiction in Cuba. To hand him football's greatest honour while he was literally in rehab, the optics were tricky. So FIFA did what FIFA so often does. They changed the rules of the game after it had been played, simply because they had lost. Suddenly, the internet vote, the one they promoted as deciding the player of the century, now retroactively appeared on the site as just for the player of the decade.
You serious?
From Cuba, Maradona fired back. I've heard that the Brazilians are lobbying and that FIFA are seeing what they can do so that the prize is split with Pele. I've told my agent to tell them that if they do this, I am not going. If the people voted for me, then the prize is for me. They can't start inventing ways of taking it away from me. This is the most important prize I have, alongside a cap that Fidel Castro gave me. Fearing further backlash, FIFA came up with the lame excuse that the name change of the Internet Award had been a typo, and it would in fact recognize the player of the decades.
Smell shame.
Once again, FIFA saw that no one was buying what they were selling and decided to meddle for a final time. Now they said there would in fact be two players of the century, one chosen by online fans, Maradona, and the other selected by a poll of anonymous FIFA officials, national team coaches, journalists and readers of the FIFA magazine, what they referred to as the football family. Democracy had spoken, but FIFA overruled it. Pele would go on to win the hastily arranged FIFA poll with 72.75% ahead of Di Stefano in second with 9.75% and Maradona in third with 6%. FIFA's farce had lit a fuse. A full-blown spat between Pele and Maradona erupted. Two of football's greatest ever were now reduced to slinging insults like kids on a playground. Maradona claimed that Pele was overrated, saying he shone in Mexico, but he received the ball, could turn round with no problems and then choose. Defenders didn't give me a centimetre. Voters are judging me for the 12 years I played in Europe, something Pele did not do. Let's be serious, do not compare me with him anymore. Well, this was also the sentiment of Pele, who seemed to suggest that Maradona would struggle to get into his top 10, saying Socrates, Rivellino, Romario, Tostao. I think that if Maradona wants to speak with Pele, he has to speak with them first. After speaking with them, Maradona should ask permission of Di Stefano or Jose Manuel Moreno. As early as 1958, I was awarded a title, Oh Ray, and that's enough for me. If he thinks he's the best player of the century, that's his problem. It was petty, it was personal, and it was deeply sad. Two men who had elevated football to art were now tearing each other down because FIFA couldn't handle the result of their own vote. Other greats of the game weighed in. Gianfranco Zola said that Maradona deserved the award and that he had never seen a better player since. Michel Platini believed both men deserved recognition, but added, if you ask me who was the best player of the century, it is the man who has done so much for soccer, who won 3 World Cups. It's Pele. Ron Atkinson had another view. There was something extra special about Johan Cruyff, with his individual talent and team ethic, but Pele was hardly far behind, nor was Maradona. Sir Bobby Charlton said he would have chosen Di Stefano, but added, for all-round ability and as a prolific goalscorer, there is only one choice, Pele. And finally, Di Stefano himself dismissed the whole debate. Who is the greatest player of the century? One player? For me, no one. Maybe Bobby Charlton, or Puskás, or Gento, or Michel Platini. I don't know. They are all different. It is impossible. Anyway, football is not a sport for individuals. It is a sport for the teams. And maybe that was the point. FIFA tried to reduce a century of football to a single name, but greatness, true greatness, isn't so easily boxed. Following the pattern of the build-up, the ceremony itself, held in Rome, was a sad spectacle, an embarrassing farce. Despite earlier threats that he wouldn't show up, Maradona did attend, but he didn't stay long. On stage to accept his shared award, he dedicated it to the Argentinian people, Fidel Castro, Che Guevara, my wife Claudia, and all the players in the world that I love and respect. The people voted for me. I feel good in my head, serene, I'm happy and proud. And then he bounced. Not wanting to stick around and watch Pele receive the award Diego felt he should never have got. When collecting his gong, Pele gestured towards Maradona's now empty seat and said, I would have liked to have had Maradona up here on stage with me, but it looks like he's already gone. Maradona, meanwhile, was already bashing his rival to journalists once again, calling Pele pitiful and claiming he was addicted to the limelight. Alfredo Di Stefano watched on, shaking his head, mortified. To see these people doing this tonight, like this, it's a fate, a piece of floss and nonsense. And for what? These kind of awards mean nothing at all when this happens. In the end, FIFA's Player of the Century award failed to crown a king. It succeeded only in exposing the absurdity of trying to do do so. Greatness in football is deeply subjective. To some, it's about numbers, trophies, and consistency. To others, it's about artistry, emotion, impact. It's about those moments that made them fall in love with the game. When you try to distill something so rich, so textured, so personal, down to a single name, you lose more than you gain. And this challenge only deepens across eras. Comparing players from different generations with different rules, pitches, tactics, fitness standards, and media landscapes is an impossible task. Comparing the grainy black and white footage of Pele's heyday to the readily available full-colour highlights of Maradona is pointless. Maradona in particular shows us how football greatness is not just about what happens on the pitch. He was a player, yes, but also a symbol, a story, a storm. His life and his legend fused in a way that created a cult of personality. People did not just admire him, they identified with him. That kind of legacy can't be measured in statistics or trophies, and no official vote can fully capture that magic. FIFA, in their desperation to control the narrative, managed only to embarrass themselves. Rather than celebrate the game's legend, they turned the award into a PR disaster. Their inability to accept the result of their own poll revealed a deeper truth, that these awards are more about politics and image than they are about genuine appreciation. So who was the greatest footballer of the 20th century? The truth is, there is no definitive answer, and that's okay, because the beauty of football is in the debate. It is in the passion, it's in the nostalgia, and it's in the arguments that never end. You can't settle greatness with a trophy. You settle it in the hearts and minds of fans, where it was always meant to live.